Hello and welcome to my channel, Designer of Learning. I am so glad you are here. My name is Grace and I am a second grade teacher. Today, I will be showing you all the things I have purchased for my classroom over the summer. So hopefully you'll find some ideas that are inspiring or helpful. And just as a reminder, I am not sponsored by anyone or anything other than my teaching paycheck. And so I'm always looking at garage sales and thrift stores or looking for deals online because it can get really expensive to supply your classroom with all the things that you'd like to have to teach your students. So please be encouraged that you'll never know what you can find at thrift stores and other discount places. And so don't feel like you have to buy everything for your classroom all at once. Acquire things slowly, and eventually you'll find that you have more than enough to help teach your students. All right, with that out of the way, let's get started. The first category of things I'm going to show you is books that I've bought for my classroom. The first book that I got for my classroom is called Q and U Call It Quits. And it's a story all about the letters Q and U, and they are tired of going together in words. So they decide to part ways. But once they do that, other words decide they don't want to go together either, and the letters call it quits. And chaos ensues. And so I thought this would be a really cute story to read during my phonics instruction to hopefully inspire students about the importance of the letter pairings that help make words complete. So this is the first book that I gathered. This next book is called Big Truck, Little Island, and this is written and illustrated by Chris Van Dusen. And he is also the illustrator for the Mercy Watson books, which my students adore. And then he wrote a book called The Circus Ship, and my students cannot get enough of that book. It's got this really fun rhyming pattern, and they love it when I read it aloud. So when I saw that he had a new book released, I had to get it. So we'll see if my students like this one as much as they like his other work. This book is a bit of forward thinking because it's a book that I plan on reading around Thanksgiving. It's called Thankful, and it's about a little girl who makes a paper chain, writing down all the things that she is thankful for in her life. And what I thought would be really fun is after reading this book to have my students make their own paper chains, writing down what they are grateful for. I think that would be a really great activity right before we go into our Thanksgiving break. And so I'm excited to see what my students are grateful for and to help them to see the world through the lens of gratitude rather than things that they want to acquire, thinking they'll make them happy. And so I'm very, very excited to add this book to my collection. This next story is The Upper Case, Trouble in Capital City. And this is a book all about teaching students about grammar skills, so punctuation and capitalization. And so I love it when I can intertwine read aloud books that integrate concepts we're learning in our standards, but in a way that's really fun and story driven. So I'm hopeful that this book will be one that my second graders enjoy listening to. Then this book is a prize of mine. It was found at a thrift store for 50 cents, a hardback copy of Hidden Figures. And this is so perfect because I love teaching my students about biographies, and then I have a whole space unit. So this fits into both of those units. And so I'm really excited for them to learn the amazing stories of the women featured in Hidden Figures. And it's even better that I got it so cheaply. So you never know what you'll find at a thrift store. Go look. It's like a treasure hunt every time. This is another book that I purchased at the thrift store, and it's a hardback, and it's a flashlight book where if you open it up, you can shine a flashlight through the pages and it will reveal a hidden picture. In my classroom, every Friday, we do something called Flashlight Fridays, where each of my students get a miniature flashlight that they get to read with. And so I like having a whole collection of these flashlight books. That way, when we have Flashlight Fridays, they have this like special hidden treasure of books that are only able to be really enjoyed on Fridays. So I love adding to my collection. So when I see these books at the thrift store, I buy them. This next book is a book that I am excited about called Happy Birthday, Martin Luther King. And this will be perfect when we have our whole unit about Martin Luther King Jr. And I'm just really excited because, I almost dropped the book. It has really great information about his life in a way that I think will be engaging for my students. So this is a fun one that I picked up at the thrift store for 50 cents as well. The next book from the thrift store was called Moonshot, and it's all about Apollo 11, and it has really captivating illustrations and cool facts about space and that space mission. So I'm really hopeful that this will capture the imagination of my readers. And then these books were at the thrift store, and again, they were like 50 or 75 cents, hardback, brand new, and they're just fun stories. So this one is a book version of the story Karate Kid from the movie, and then this is E.T., which is another adaptation of the movie in book form for kids. And so I think my students will just enjoy having fun stories like that to read. So this was a great find. The last books that I have, we have to reach over here, are 2 biographies. And these are board books. And I'm really hoping that my students don't feel like that they're babyish, but honestly, the great part about these books is they have some really rich text. So the board book part will make them really sturdy, but it has great information about the lives of the people that they're being featured. So this one is about Jane Goodall. And in the back of the book, it's fun because they have a real picture and then kind of a recap of all the information they just learned in the story. And then the same is true for the one about Jackie Robinson. So again, I think my students will just really enjoy getting to hear the true stories of these incredible heroes. And then in the back, they'll enjoy getting to see an actual photograph of the person. So those are the 2 biographies I picked up. Now we're moving on to, I don't even know what to call them, accessories in the classroom. I am hoping to do a pirate themed learning unit. And so I found this pirate boat. And so it says like wooden boat with little pieces. And your job is to put the pieces on the boat without them toppling over. And I thought this would be a fun activity to create engagement at my teacher table. So my plan is to have different questions for students to have to answer. And if they answer the question correctly, they're allowed to put 1 piece on the boat. So that way we're able to review or teach concepts and have them incentivized to stay engaged. I think my students will love this game and enjoy our time at teacher table using it. So this is the pirate boat game that I got, and those are my plans for how I'm going to use it. Next fun thing I got is this wooden playset of diner food. And this is kind of random, but my plan is to celebrate our 50th day of school, and it will be 50s themed. And so some of the activities will be like 50 diner problems. And so my hope is that this will just kind of create some fun engagement for our transformation on the 50th day of school. So that is why I picked up this play food, diner food set. This next item was inspired by the YouTuber The Literacy Teacup. She has a video touring her 2nd grade classroom, and in her tour, she showed this light that was a rainbow. And she said that she uses it in her classroom as a way of signaling to her students when she's in small groups that it is not an appropriate time to interrupt unless it's an emergency. And I thought that was such a great idea, an awesome visual for students to have as a reference to know this is a time for me to work with my students in small groups without any interruptions. And so I had to purchase her rainbow light. I found it at Walmart, and this is what it looks like turned on. It's so happy and bright, and I like that there's a button just easily accessible here at the top. And I'm really hopeful that this will be a great cue for my students to know when is an appropriate time to ask me questions and when's the time when I need to work really hard with the students that I have engaged at my teacher table. So this is a fun addition to my classroom for this year. The very last item in my haul is something that I didn't know I wanted until I saw it at a garage sale. It is this plug-in disco light, and I was able to get 2 of these for $1. I was so excited. And my very first thought when I saw them was, this will be perfect for Dance Day in our ABC Countdown to Summer. So if you haven't heard me talk about my ABC Countdown to Summer product, I love celebrating the last 26 days of school, and every letter that we celebrate of the alphabet, we have an activity that ties to it. And so for D, we have Dance Day. And I thought, how fun would it be to turn off the lights and have my 2 disco lights going as we dance to fun music. And so when I saw these, I could not pass up on this steal of a deal. Well, that is all that I have to show you that I have gathered for my classroom for this school year. Thank you so much for watching. I'm hopeful that you found it helpful or inspiring. Please know that you do not need a lot of things to be a great teacher. If you are passionate about helping your students, if you love your students and listen to them and respond to the needs that they have as individuals, you are doing great. You do not need disco balls or all the read alouds in the world to be amazing. You are doing an awesome job changing the world one student at a time, just by caring, loving, and listening. You are awesome, you are loved, and you are very much appreciated. Have a great week. Bye.